Hi, I'm Mrs. Maley, art teacher at Murray Middle School. Join me as I share fun and creative ways for you to make your own artworks. Welcome to the art room. Today I'm going to show you how to create these amazing cherry blossom paintings. They're really fun to do, so let's get started. You'll need thick white construction or watercolor paper, watercolor paints with a large, medium, and small brush, some water, some craft paints in red and white, some Q-tips, and a place to mix your paints. When cherry trees bloom, they make the most amazing colorful blossoms. To start our cherry branch painting, what we want to do is begin with the branch itself. And if you'll notice in this picture, it starts out thick and then it slowly gets a little bit thinner. So that's the way an actual tree grows. It starts out thick near the trunk of the tree and it gets a little thinner as it goes out. So we are going to start with our large paintbrush. And what we want to do is mix a little of the brown and black paint. So I'm going to get some water on my brush, touch it to the brown and put it up here. Touch a little black, and you can just keep doing this each time you need more paint. We just want to make a combination of that brown and black color. And a little bit more water. Now I'm going to start on this side of the paper and it's going to go across this way. What I want to do is press the brush down to get a thick line and then pull across the paper. And as I pull, I'm also going to kind of wiggle the brush and then twist it up so it gets a little bit thinner as it goes out. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit more paint. Underneath the bottom part, I'm going to make it a little bit darker. And I'm going to make a branch coming off this way. And as I pull upward, I want to use just the tip of this brush. So you're pulling up and out. A little bit tricky, just takes a little practice. I'm going to continue making a little branch going off this way and another one this way. And then I'm going to have a branch coming down. Now each time you draw a branch, what you want to do is start where the thickest part of the branch is and then paint to the thinner side. So this is a little bit thin here. I'm going to add a little more paint, thicken it up. Always darker on the underneath side. And I'm going to make another branch coming off this way. One more little branch this way. Okay, next I'm going to add a little darker areas underneath. And if it starts to get too dark, you could just touch your brush in the water, and that helps to smooth those colors together, those darks and lights. I'm going to move to my medium-sized brush, pick up my color. I'm going to add some branches to the ones I already have, so I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. Pull off a little bit. Always go back to the original branch you started with and pull away from it. I'm going to work on adding a few more smaller branches coming off of the larger ones. Okay, my last little bit here, I'm going to use my smallest paintbrush and just add a few more smaller branches coming off. Always go back to that branch you started with and pull away from it. you may be finding that you want to keep going back and adding a few more little branches, and that's fine. Now, our next step is to let this dry just a little bit. Rinse my brush out. We are done with the watercolor part, so I'm going to move my paints to the side. And next thing that you're going to need is the area where you're going to mix your paints, your thicker craft paints. And I'm going to add a little bit of white and red onto my mixing spot. My branch that I painted has been drying while I put my red and white paints on my mixing area. Also gathered my Q-tips. And what we're going to do next is actually create the blossoms. And we're going to use the Q-tips to do that. If you'll see these little spots, they were actually created using the ends of the Q-tips. So what I'm going to do is start with one Q-tip, and I want to pull some of this white down and some of the red up and swirl it together. And it's going to create a pink. Now, pink is a tint of red, which just means it's a lighter version of a color, and you create tints by adding white. So what we want to do now is take several Q-tips. I'm going to put 3 in my hand, and this is the one that I mixed with. We're going to start with our pink. Now, if it's a little bit hard to hold 3 together, you could always wrap a little rubber band around them to keep them together. And what I want to do is swirl this around and just gently tap so that I get paint on all 3 ends of the Q-tips. Sometimes I tap it over here just to make sure that it's on there really well. And now I'm going to tap gently around the branches. We want to start with the ends of the branches. So I'm going to work on adding some little pink dots just at the ends. Now, as you're adding your blossoms on the ends, you want to cluster them. They kind of remind me of little grape clusters hanging down. Sometimes I put a few little blossoms on a cherry tree. Sometimes they're blossoming out from the larger branch, so I add a few there. Maybe some here. Next, we're going to go to the red. I'm just going to use these same Q-tips, because red is darker, I can do that, and actually dip into the red over here, and now I'm going to add the red dots to the pink ones. You will not need as many of the red as the pink. We're just adding to the pink and not really covering them up. We just want to show some of these blossoms are in the sunlight, so they're a little bit lighter. Some have just opened up, so they're a little bit darker. I finished my red dots, and I'm going to complete the painting by adding one more layer, and this time we're using only white. So I've got my 3 Q-tips again. I'm dipping in the white, and we're going to add a few little white highlights to the cherry blossoms. As you're working, if you feel like there are any areas, maybe the white covered it up a little too much, you could always go back and add a little more pink or a little more red. It's up to you as the artist how you want to go back and add color. Add a little right here. I'm really pleased with my painting. It can actually be shown horizontally, or you may want to show it vertically. Either way, it's really beautiful. These cherry blossom paintings are really fun to do and help represent the beauty in nature. I really hope you enjoyed creating your beautiful painting today. Remember to always believe in yourself, share your love of art with others, and make the world a more beautiful place. Until next time, this is Miss Maylie in the Art Room.